So I'm hearing that one company saves $500,000 with AI right now, and one has $25 million taken through a deepfake Zoom call. So at the AI workshop, I look around the audience who look like deer in the headlights and ask them, which one would you choose to focus on? And instead of like being curious or turning around and talking about it, they went right for the deep fake. Freeze and push it away till tomorrow because AI is this bad thing. I can tell you all these bad things will happen. The Latin saying, love your fate, just like AI, because it's here and it's not going anywhere. And in episode 39 of the AI Optimist, creating AI habits reflecting the real you, discover your inner AI avatar. I mean this seriously. What's inside for you, what you believe, is what you're going to create. It's not totally that way, but it certainly is not going to happen if you're so negative. And so I want to give you a couple of models to follow. First is the CAIO. That avatar is the leader of an AI business or even an entrepreneur or solopreneur integrating AI, knowing that that job's going to be very short term because AI is definitely going to replace them. We don't need somebody doing that forever just now. Then a travel business, saving $500,000 by identifying how AI fit into their workflows, personalizing it by the experience of their employees and with hands on support and training. And then we're going to focus you on a 4-week plan to identify and begin discovering your AI avatar, even if you think you're a pro. What role will you play with AI? CAIO, an AI all in business? Or maybe your AI avatar, maybe something you've never even seen before. Well, if you've never read the book Atomic Habits, it's probably pretty clear that a lot of this pod is influenced by that book by James Clear. As he says, identity based habits. The key to building identity based habits is focusing on creating a new identity first. Your current behaviors are simply a reflection of your current identity. What you do now is a mirror image of the type of person you believe that you are, either consciously or subconsciously. And Clear goes on to say to change your behavior for good, you need to start believing new things about yourself. Now, does that remind you about AI? Because it really hit home for me. AI has become a habit. Some of you, on top of what you do in mid journey or buried in code or helping you along the way, are already working with AI, but you didn't know it. It was behind the curtain. So I want to show you how to take small incremental steps towards defining what you need and can do with AI to get going now. Avatar number one, the CAIO, Chief AI Officer. And for my entrepreneur and solopreneur friends who I work with a ton, I want you to apply this to yourself, not like you have some job at top of Google. The CAIO is a model. It's responsible for integrating AI into company operations, into what you do. Now, we in the smaller end do the same thing, which is why this avatar isn't about some short term corporate C suite role only. It's looking at how you integrate AI with what you do. And let me share what Dan O'Connell at this article from Tech Brew, Dan O'Connell, Chief AI and Strategy Officer at the cloud communications company Dial, has to say. I actually think this is a moment in time type of role. And it's funny to say that about your own job. The need for the specific AI person goes away simply because everyone else levels up their skills and knowledge around these technologies, which is what my guess is probably happens. So, as you're scared about your job, that avatar is about embracing the change and saying how much this not only can improve what we're doing, but to go in with eyes open about how things can get better. Now, here's another CAIO who probably has one of the toughest jobs because she works at Accenture, the chief AI officer, Lan Guan, who says every C suite needs a job like hers. Obviously, she's positive, but what she's doing with Accenture is working with clients, making them familiar, and spending a tremendous amount of hands on time training people. She estimates 25% in this TechBrew article. Think about that. So much we talk about training the AI data. How much do we think as seriously and importantly of training the people who are supposed to use this at what they do? Because it's no one fit all, it's a custom fit. And as Lance says, oftentimes I talk to C suite clients about how do you start your AI journey? For those who are already started doing some experimentation, then it's my job to help them see the pathway to scale. More and more conversations are pivoting to this point of view. Now, here's an agency working with clients who, if they're using AI in its current generation, and as you know from our copyright podcasts, they can't really use it and sell it because you can't transfer a copyright you don't own. Though the liability goes with it, meaning if they did something wrong, it goes with it. So there's a lot of hand holding, and it's using this to engage people. And really, the reason there's so much training is there's so much fear, not deep, crazy fear, nervousness. And over again in my interviews here and in my research, everyone shares with me almost like across the board that people don't know how to use AI. They get very confused because they sit them in front of a blank prompt. And as AI becomes more commonplace, the role of the CIO may evolve, maybe towards just doing education and training. Maybe it becomes a training function. But for you, takeaways. You're the CAIO of your business, whether you have no employees or 20,000. You need to be able to integrate it. And if you're alone, then you need to do this process with yourself. You need to get over the blocks of what AI might do and try to shape it. How is it impacting my career now? What are the trends that sort of look like might happen? And what can I do to upskill and obviously add a little bit and know how to work with AI? So the CAIO is really an optimist, but an optimist with accountability. And that's what I want for all of you. Avatar number two, the AI all in business, saving 500,000 a year. And I use the all in because you can't go sort of halfway with AI. You want to start slow, but at Holiday Extras, they worked with OpenAI and found that word of mouth is a great way to start AI engagement. And it doesn't always happen, but when it does, listen to David Norris, Chief Growth Officer of Holiday Extras. He says early ChatGPT users in the organization were so proud of the work they were doing, they couldn't help but tell colleagues. Employee word of mouth on the quality of work became an instant driver of ChatGPT adoption. Now, this is a company that does have a very data driven, efficient culture. They're not afraid of tech by any means. People are running SQL queries. For those who don't know, it's complex, usually takes requests and time. It's working with the database. Now they have people being able to interface using a human language, and they taught them whatever they were doing. How can it help? What are you good at? Where can it help you? Not in the sense of AI first, we're going to replace you, but you're our employees, our people. Let's go in and listen to you. This is the model I want you to know. Why people do this? It's no guarantee you're going to hit a home run like Holiday Extras, and this is very early. So we'll take it with a grain of salt that all of these are sort of really good stories. It's very early to say this is going to happen year after year. But even the idea, the culture that an AI enabled business leveraging AI technologies to improve operations, customers' experience, and overall performance. If I told you you could have a tool to do all that and didn't tell you it was AI, would you maybe use it? And when you're working with people, be humble to understand this deep rooted identity, this transience of not wanting things to change, and it's all ages. See, an AI enabled business recognize the value of AI as a strategic asset and makes integration into all aspects that matter work, but starting a little bit at a time, a step at a time. They gain the competitive advantage and get growth opportunities because they're looking for them, because they're seeing this AI as a tool. They're not arguing and telling all these horror stories. How are you going to go to work? As I talked to an interior designer and I asked her after we were going back and forth, and she didn't like AI and had a lot of good questions about it. But she does interior design. I turned to her and said, is there bias in interior design? Which is sort of funny because that's why you hire interior designer for their bias. But the joke was, Why are we asking such philosophical, deep, and expecting 25-year answers when we can't even answer that about ourselves? So that's why I want to get into your avatar, number three. Rather than trying to force AI into your current world, shape a new identity. It begins there, it begins inside. Everyone loves to look at, like, play whack a mole with the AI tools out there. Go from this one to that one, and oh, did you like it? But they don't even know what to do with it, and there's no purpose. And I don't want you to use an AI tool without purpose. So instead of saying, I'm going to 10x my productivity or save 20% of my time, maybe you could save more. Why set limits? I mean, those are both great goals, but are they tied to who you're going to become? How do they serve you as the new AI enhanced version of you that allows you to do more things? And if not, then don't. You got a good thing going. It's not going to do everything. So, little by little, find the tools instead of jumping in and seeing where you fit. You want to know week number one, I want you to start identifying your AI avatar. What is it? What is it about? If I was to say to you, hey, what do you do for a living? Where does AI serve you? Where might it? Where are you getting slowed down? Where can you automate meetings? The usual things that you read. There's really summaries of meetings, transcribing, audio, video, posting on social media, a lot of marketing, a lot of HR, recruiting, and things like that. Where are you fitting in? Get specific. And I want you to keep a record. Go to Notion, set that up, make a journal, make yourself accountable, count the hours. And what's great is as you take some notes, I don't care if you write them down, you can go put them into ChatGPT, which will take a picture, you can put it up to ChatGPT and it'll tell you about your progress. Let it analyze and be a support, a mentor to you. Keep it for AI to help you to review, not just as some journal. Consider questions about the most challenging part of your work. What can be automated? What helps you analyze and summarize? And how are other people working with it? Is there some pushback? And can we help them with it? Not just throw it at them because honestly, remember, be humble. They don't know what to do. Find potential AI apps. Watch very first for privacy and security. Many companies have spent months going down the trail and then come to a solution that's not adequate with privacy and adequate with security. Ask that question first before you do anything. Pick your favorite AI tools that in week two, after you've done all the tools, pick your favorites and customize the AI for your avatar. See, we're breaking down what do you do and what tools do you do with it from what do you do and why it matters to you. Focus a few hours on it. Get a little deeper, but see if you're really interested in it too. And find out people who are good at this. And everybody's going to open up at their own pace. Don't judge them, but watch them and have them help the team in what they can do. Maybe you have somebody who's great at prompts and could really specialize in this. Provide practical guidance on how to experiment and refine AI usage to get the most out of it. This is what you do with your journal. What did I do? How can I improve? And is that tool going to be able to do it? And then share best practices and common errors to avoid. Of course, start monthly, do it every month. And then as you develop it, do it quarterly because you need a little time to develop. And remember, you're iterating. This is like agile if you're in the tech field, right? This is like a little bit at a time. We call them the MVP, the minimum viable product. Get what you can out the door and don't try to get everything because that's where people get in trouble. And what you're trying to define is your AI tech stack. And what that means are the apps you use. For example, I use ChatGPT, I use Claude, I use Adobe's tools and Premiere, a lot of AI tools in Photoshop. So I have a great connection with Adobe Suite and the data they provide. I use several tools to do presentations. I use Opus to do my 1 minute videos. I have a number of different tools that I could go on and on about. That is because after a year doing this, I've developed what I know works, and I'm not looking to some listicle because as much as they say it's good, if you can make it good, then it is. If you can't, don't worry about it. Find another tool because this is early days and a lot of them look alike and honestly do pretty much the same thing. Try to find the ones that are surviving. So after that, week one, we started, we got our feet wet. Week two, we picked a few apps and dove deeper. Week three, now it's time for the habits. We developed our identity in the first 2 weeks, starting with you, not starting with the tool. Now, how does that habit support AI adoption? The tool's changing and evolving with you, who you are and what you do at work and in your life. If by the way, that even applies. There are going to be people where this doesn't. I'm not saying you have to go AI. I'm not an AI first person, am I? I'm an AI people first. Make it work for you. Get your techniques and strategies. Treat it just like you would a new division or a new employee. Watch them, help them, work with the AI. You don't want to leave it alone. So many people think it's just like set it and forget it. And then share your experiences and support others where you work, and don't get down on the person having trouble. Because in week 4, it's time to evolve your avatar. Look at the progress you made over the 3 weeks. Take all your notes, recordings if you want, any of this, anything, recordings, video, writing, Notion, posts, anything. Put it into AI and have it do a review and prompt it to ask you what you could have done better, what you could have done more of, what you missed, and what you were good at. Let it give you some feedback and then start working with your people, or even just somebody you just coach with, and feedback to each other what you went in so you get an idea of what success means and what it doesn't to you. Forget about, to me, setting goals. Goals come when you know where you're going. To set a goal and then say, I'm just going to learn this, not attached to anything you're doing, is just going to lead you to, you're not like looking for what you want to do. Maybe you are. Nothing wrong with that. But you want to make sure you're just not spinning your wheels, because that's what can happen with so many tools. You just get overwhelmed. You got to stay current and adapt and evolve your identity. Your identity is now dynamic because you're working with AI, which is going to be through tremendous changes in the next 5 years, as we all know. So, how do you adapt? That's all that matters. Forget Sam Altman and OpenAI and all this great stuff that makes us like get angry. You're going to be like the people looking for the $25 million deepfake story so they can feel good about doing nothing because AI is just a bunch of bunk. Well, if that's true, the last 10 years have been sort of a lie because it's been around. So become the person who uses AI in a way that aligns with your values, aspirations, and desired impact. Maybe you're a CAIO, not some fancy person in charge of 20,000 people, but a solopreneur or an entrepreneur with a few employees in a startup. You want to make sure that you look at AI and how it can fit and how it might be one of your competitors. And no, it's not one size fits all. It's a custom fit. That's your identity. When you start knowing that, you won't get stuck scared at an AI presentation because basically everyone's saying, yeah, I'm scared too. Let's just all be scared. What you need and can do with AI differs from me, from anyone. Obvious, right? Which is why what you see yourself as with AI is more important than finding a cool tool to save you time or money. Get curious, explore. This is the most tremendous opportunity to really extend what one person can do. My entire podcast, I self produce. I'm not good in audio. Adobe Premiere helps me. I'm not a great graphic designer. I use Midjourney and have learned from great people how to prompt. I am a writer, so ChatGPT and Claude are great tools. That's in my wheelhouse. That's enough. I can do a lot more. I try out different tools, observe the impact, and adjust. Test, put your toes in the water, don't go for a swim. When you do something, celebrate small wins, but stop looking at it as being smarter than you. This is not a competition or a comparison. And I want to imagine yourself 5 years from now, and you're looking back on today as the day you decided to accept AI as a challenge brought to you. What would your world look like? Because this pod is about you, what you do with AI. By focusing on small steps, getting a mindset with looking at curiosity and growth about AI and any negative impacts, but you create an AI avatar that reflects your evolving relationships, how you work with technology. And when somebody asks you what you do, you can tell them not only with confidence, but because you've been through the process and you've been developing your own avatar. And this is an ongoing process. Looking forward to seeing what your avatar turns out tomorrow.